Hi, I'm Dave Quinn, and this is what's coming up on Good Sports Memories. Jack Smith, the 1954 All-State diver, will be joining us tonight in studio. He and Bill will discuss spending summers at Dunnell Pond as well as swimming for the Pawtucket Boys Club. Jack will also reminisce about swimming and diving at East High for legendary coach Max Reed. These and more Good Sports Memories coming up right now.
Good evening, I'm Bill Mulholland and welcome to Good Sports Memories. Tonight we're going to feature swimming in the city of Pawtucket from 1945 to 1954. My guest Jack Smith, an All-State diver for Max Reed at East High in 1954, will talk about his childhood days swimming at Jake Dunnell's pond, the Pawtucket Boys Club swim teams, what it was like to swim for legendary swim coach Max Reed, and Jack's tribute to the legacy of Max, which lives on through the Max Reed Swim Meet Invitational. In addition, Jack has brought along some classic photos that are over 50 years old that will definitely go over and bring back some memories. Well, welcome to Good Sports Memories, Jack.
Thank you, Bill.
I've been looking forward to having a show about Max Reed and talk about him, so you're the perfect person for it, right?
Appreciate that.
Good, good. Now, Jack, let's begin with your youth. Swimming at Jake Dunnell Pond, which is now the Hank Saw Softball Complex in Pawtucket. How instrumental was the pond in the development of swimmers in Pawtucket?
Well, let's go back a little bit further than Jake Dunnell's pond. It used to be just a basic pond, and it was spring-fed,
Okay.
and the city, man-made, the city decided to shape it up and put some beach sand in and around the pond itself, and made a swimming hole out of it. And back in 1946, 47, they decided to chlorinate the pond itself, and it became swimmable at that point by many, many people in the community of Pawtucket.
How long does it date back to? When did it really start?
The actual date, I'm not quite sure,
It was there when you were a kid, right?
But it was there when I was a kid, and it improved because Max Reed made sure he put the swimming walls up, which were 25 yards apart, and they used to have a life raft out there in the middle of the pond.
Yeah. And Jack, we've got one of your classic photos here. What is this a picture of?
This is a picture of the kids at that particular time that were going to be participants of that particular swim meet that summer. I'm not sure what the actual date is, Bill, but it dates back to the, I would say, the late 40s. Yeah. And those are all the kids that participated in that particular meet.
Yeah, and you can see the beach sand. There was beach sand all the way around the entire place, Jack?
The entire place.
Yeah. Now, you were a lifeguard there also, right? So it brings back even more memories for you.
Yes. When I reached the age of 16, after swimming under the auspices of Max Reed and those swimming meets, I became a lifeguard, went through the Red Cross training program, at the Pawtucket Boys Club, and under the direction of Frank Mooney, who was the state water safety instructor trainer, yeah, that I worked under, and he certified me as a swim lifeguard, and I worked there at the age of 16.
Yeah. Was that one of the plum jobs in Pawtucket?
Well, it wasn't plum, Bill, but it was a nice job for a 16-year-old to get, because it was in the realm of my neighborhood, so to speak, because I grew up in Bishop's Bend, and I hung around at Jake Dunnell's pond in the summertime,
so as
well as most of the neighborhoods in and around Jake Dunnell's pond who did the same thing as I did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, talking about Max Reed, what he would do is he'd hold swim meets at Dunnell Pond for the city use as a feeder program for his highly successful swim program at East High, which is now Tolman, as we all know. Talk about the meets at Dunnell Pond, and again, we've got another classic photo coming up.
Well, Max was a very strong-minded individual, and he was determined that they were going to have competitive swimming at Jake Dunnell's Pond because it also motivated the students, or the kids at that point in time, once they become students at East High School, that they'd be firm competitors. And this was like a training ground for a lot of the kids in the neighborhoods, from Prospect Heights as well as Bishop Bend and Prospect Street, and also over by St. Teresa's Church.
And now that photo is up there, Jack. So what are we looking at here?
We're looking at the dock that the swimming meets took place between. Yeah. And you can see the ropes. It separated the different lanes, and the swimmers just about taking off and their start for that particular event.
Yeah. Now, how deep was Dunnell Pond?
The deepest part was approximately 6.5 feet.
Okay.
And they had a raft out there you used to swim and dive off of.
Is that right?
And you had to be very careful as to how you dove, because you'd end up in the muck on the bottom of the pond.
Yeah. Now, would there be some good crowds at the swim meets that Max would have?
There certainly was.
At Dunnell Pond?
Well, as the case goes with most swim meets, there's a lot of friends and relatives who participate in viewing these particular swimming meets. Yeah. But there was a great following during those years.
Yeah, and Jack, we've got a great photo here. This is a photo of Max Reed, right? Tell us a little bit about this one here.
This is a picture of Max shaking hands with one of the winners of a particular swimming event. I think his first name is Ray Flynn. Yeah. And see the other kids behind Max there?
Sure.
Ray LaTravis, I see. Jack O'Connor is another one there. And this is how Max got to know a lot of the students from the city.
Very distinguished looking man, Jack.
Very much so.
Huh?
Max was a gentleman. In all cases, I never heard him raise his voice in the number of years that I knew the man. Yeah. And he did it with style and grace.
Now, Jack, what role did the Pawtucket Boys Club play in the development of Pawtucket swimmers? They played a very important role in order to get the kids to move on, right?
We were, I was considered a Boys Club brat over the years.
And that was good, right?
That was excellent because we found a place to hang out during the winter months, and there were games room activities as well as basketball, there was boxing, there were swimming. And I took on the swimming because I had an interest in it because I was getting better and better with each passing year. Yeah. And so Andy Diamond was the swim coach down at the Boys Club during my era. And here's a great picture that of some of the swimmers, not all of them.
Now, who do we see there? Who are the four guys?
Andy Diamond's on the left side. Alan Carpenter is next to him. And Jeff Schofield is next to Alan, and then Bobby Plord, and then the smiling face is myself, and Joe Callery is next to me. And below that, on the right side below Joe Callery, is Eddie Mailhot.
Okay, on the other side,
Bruce Kearsley, Will Freejo, and Don Enos.
Wow, you know, you talk about some all-state swimmers and some of the great swimmers of the 50s and 40s. Those are the guys right there, Jack.
These are the guys that swam in my era from 52 to 53. I mean 54. Although not to say that the swimmers before me weren't great, because they were, because back in 1953 they won the National Boys Club Championship as well as we won it in 1954.
Is that right?
Yes, 2 years in a row. Was a great feat at that time.
And now the Boys Club served as a melting pot for youth swimmers in the off season. I mean, so Max would have you guys during the winter months, because that's when swim meets were held in the high school. But in the off season, it really was the place to go if you were a swimmer.
It certainly was. One of the things that, as you just mentioned, it's a melting pot of the city of Pawtucket, in a sense, and it really was a a training program for the high school swimmers, because there was West High School at the time had a swimming program, competitive swimming program, as East High School did, and St. Raphael came into a competitive era, I think back in 1950 or 51, because they didn't always have a swimming team at St. Raphael Academy, and that was a rather a new swim program at St. Raphael Academy.
Now, I mentioned Johnny Weissmuller, Buster Crabbe. What is that?
Yes.
What does it remind you of during your youth, Jack?
He was my hero. Johnny Weissmuller was. He was an Olympic swimmer, as well as he became Tarzan in the various pictures that he played as Tarzan. And he came into the city, visited Pawtucket Boys Club.
Is that right?
To promote his interest in swimming. And another notable person in that era was Buster Crabbe. And both those guys came and visit Pawtucket Boys Club under the auspices of Andy Diamond at that particular time, and Phil Geiger was the director at the Boys Club. And they brought those notable stars, in a sense, into our lives.
Yeah.
And it was a
thrill,
it was a thrill to see these people.
Even 50 years ago,
firsthand.
you still remember it like it was yesterday,
yes.
Jack?
It's amazing how I cherish those memories.
Yeah. Now, Jack, regarding your swimming career, you transformed yourself from a sprinter to a backstroker and finally into a diver. How did that metamorphosis occur?
It wasn't me that transformed myself into the three areas of competitive swimming. It was Max Reed. He saw something in me that I didn't know I had. Okay. Because every chance I had, I was on the diving board, and he probably saw that. And I was a sprinter, as you said, and that I converted to a backstroker. And Max tried to be able to put you in events that you didn't normally swim in order to be able to improve your times and interest in those particular strokes.
Okay.
And so as I become more and more interested in diving, Ray Mailhart, who was my mentor, brought me into his arena, so to speak. And Ray was a all-state diver in his own right, and worked with me. And there was another guy, Johnny Blake, was another diver who helped Ray Mailhart out when he was at the high school, a senior as well. And so John Blake used to come down and work with Ray in his junior year, and he helped me out tremendously.
Hindsight, was it a good move for you, or would you have done better if you stayed as a sprinter or backstroker, Jack? Looking back.
Looking back, I carried forth my skills as a 1-meter diver into the military service. And
did you?
I spent 16 weeks in basic training down at Fort Dix, New Jersey, and I get shipped out to Fort Sill, Oklahoma, and I transformed myself from a 1-meter diver into a 3-meter diver. And I really enjoyed the atmosphere there. And I spent 19 months as a competitive diver, swimming both in the post Fort Sill swim meets and the 4th Army swim meets and the All Army swim meets.
All right. Now talking about diving, diving is not an event in Rhode Island high school meets nowadays. But back during your days, 40s and 50s, it was a very popular event. Yep. Tell us about the diving event during your high school career at East High. What was it all about?
The diving, as everybody here in New England knows, the diving depths of the swimming pools were only, at Tolman High School, was 8.5 feet deep. At West High School, or Shea as it's called now, it was 7.5 feet deep. The Pawtucket Boys Club swimming natatorium, as it's now called, is 6.5 feet deep. And so you learned how to save dives during that era. The liability...
We got a picture of you here. It looks like you're almost touching the ceiling on this one,
Yes.
Jack. Is it a little dangerous?
No, a little bit further away than it appears there.
Yeah.
Because the ceiling at Tolman High School was pretty high. although it does look like I was attached to the,
Yes, it
to the
does.
ceiling.
Looked like you were bending purposely for that.
But in order to be able to dive in the area that we dove in, Ray Mulholland and myself, as well as a few other divers in the local community, we had to learn how to save a dive, or save ourselves in a sense.
What's that mean?
Being able to do somersaults and tumbling, once you hit the surface of the water, be able to save the dive and get a clean entry. And what you used to do is when you hit the water, you used to be able to somersault in the pool itself, in the water, and thereby saving the dives. And the reason why they've eliminated diving in Rhode Island especially is the fact that very few of the pools are 9.5 feet deep, which is now the requirement for most swimming pools in the New England area.
All right. Now, back in the 40s and 50s, there were 5 required dives.
It still applies today, Bill.
Right? Or is it the same thing now?
Yes.
And the competition, you'd have the swim meet, they'd be halfway through, and then they stop everything, and then everyone would focus on the divers. Talk a little bit about that.
The diving was a unique event, so to speak, and it was somewhat of an entertaining event, and it gave the swimmers, especially the swimmers who had to be able to compete back-to-back events. So it gave them some time to be able to catch their second breath, so to speak. And we enjoyed it. And one of the things that had to happen in many cases, we did 5 required dives, one of them being required for each dual meet. Yeah. Well, you get into championship meets, you had to do at least 10, if not 11 dives. And the degree of difficulty as you get up like a front dive in a pike or layout position, the next dive would be a forward 1.5 somersault. And then of course you'd get into a inward dive, and that next degree of difficulty would be an inward somersault, and then an inward 1.5. As it goes down the ladder, the reverse dive, it used to be called a gainer category, now it's called a reverse dive. And you do a reverse dive in a layout position or a pike position, then the next step would be a reverse somersault. And
what was your favorite dive, Jack?
My favorite dive was a forward 1.5 in a pike position, as my favorite dive was in the basic category was a front dive in a pike position.
Okay. Now, Jack, we have a classic photo of the 1954 East High Swim Squad. What I want you to do is I want you to introduce the bottom row starting from left to right and talk about each of your team members.
These were quite a group of swimmers that Max Reed actually put together. And on the left side, as I can see, is Bob Humphrey.
Okay.
Bob Humphrey.
The baseball and football player?
Yes. He ended up being a coach up in Cumberland High School, the guy on the left side. And he was quite a sprinter, both in the 50 as well as the 100-yard freestyle.
Now that had to be rare, to play baseball and football and now play basketball or track, but to be a swimmer. He was that type of an athlete, huh?
He also received a scholarship down at the University of Rhode Island to play football.
Did he?
Yep. In swimming, he lost the swimming because University of Rhode Island never had a swimming team back in those days.
Oh.
And the guy next to him was, can't remember right offhand who he was.
Okay.
But he was a track star as well as track star.
Williston?
Kenny Williston. I'm sorry. Thank you.
No, hey.
And
I know some of the names.
Kenny was also a great swimmer.
Yeah.
Ronnie Dunnell next to him was a very good friend of mine, and he was also a long-distance swimmer.
Yeah, big guy though. I mean,
yes.
look at the shoulders on this guy.
Ronnie always had a great physique.
Yeah.
And he used it well.
Okay.
He got most manly in our 54
I believe that.
class.
Who's the handsome guy next to Dunnell?
That's none other than John Smith, which is my formal name. And I look rather slim and trim in that picture.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Now, was that necessary for a diver to be more on the
yes,
swim
it's
slide?
very, very important to be physically fit to be on the diving board, both style and grace that you do need, as well as the physical conditioning.
All right, who's next to you?
That's Jeff Schofield. We used to call him the Snake. And Jeff Schofield was our long-distance swimmer,
Great
along
swimmer,
with
right.
Alan Carpenter,
Okay.
up in the second row there. Bruce Kearsley was another sprinter and also a butterflyer. Butterfly stroke used to use the old-fashioned frog kick with the butterfly stroke. And it became a dolphin kick, I think, back in 1955 or 56,
Yeah.
where you could convert butterfly using the dolphin kick.
Now, and who's the last guy? The last guy in the
Bob Simmons was a
Okay.
backstroker, along with myself. He used to swim the 100-yard backstroke, as well as the individual medley. And I was the backstroker in the relay team.
Okay. Now, Jack, Max Reed served as a head swim coach at East High for 33 years, resigning in 1960. How was Max able to accomplish his legendary status as a coach of individual champions and team champions at what is now Tolman High?
Well, Max had a way about him that everybody liked. In the years that I knew Max, Max was also involved at the YMCA camp up there in Coventry.
Okay.
And he also was the recreation director. He was a phys ed instructor. He was also a swimming coach. And Max got around. He knew all the other coaches from the high schools, knew the coach, Andy Diamond, at the boys club. And those were the great feeder systems that Max took advantage of.
Now, Jack, I love this this shot. Now, this you specifically put this shot together for a cover of one of the programs
Yes.
for the Max Reed Invitational, right?
I established the Max Reed Swimming and Diving Championships for high schools back in 1969.
Yeah.
And
we'll talk a little bit about that a little later on.
yes, but this particular cover was an effort on my part to go into Max's scrapbooks and do a collage of all his swimmers, and this cover being one of the mainstays of the swimming program as we know it as the
And some
Max
of these,
Reed.
if you could just get back to this this shot again, please. If you look in the upper left-hand corner and down below, there's got to be some really old photos because you got full uniforms. You got the top half of the swimsuit on the guys, right?
Those were the uniforms of the era, and now the swimming trunks are a lot less.
More revealing.
More revealing
I get
these
it.
days.
Thank you, Steve. That's good. Okay.
Yes.
And so now, Max, talk a little bit about Max. The rumor around that I talked to a lot of people was that Max Reed didn't know how to swim. And now I find that baffling that that you could have a coach of legendary status not know how to swim. How could he actually coach his players if he didn't know how to swim? Or is that just a rumor?
Well, there have been other coaches that never participated in that sport as a competitor, but have a keen eye to be able to single out the mechanics of strokes as it would be with watching a pitcher or a batter swinging. Max had the ability to be able to pick out the mechanics of a stroke and watch an up-and-coming swimmer from the boys club at Jake Dunnell's pond swimming meets and be able to single him or her out. In many cases, there were some females that were outstanding swimmers, right, under the tutelage of Max Reed. Although they never had a swimming team per se,
Right.
the girls never did, okay?
They swam mostly
But
through the boys' club.
through the boys' clubs and the
right?
YMCAs,
Lucy Crocker,
exactly.
Janet Morrow.
Right, there you go.
Right, sure.
Those are some notable names of the past, and Max had a way about him, and he was a keen observer of human nature, and he tried to keep all of his charges on the straight and narrow. And one of the great things that Max did, it wasn't just at a practice that he paid attention to you. He knew your family, and he knew about your siblings and how you were getting along in the family. And he really was an overwhelming coach as far as I was concerned, because he put forth everything he could to making you a man.
Yeah. Now, and you would and talk for about a minute about the mentoring program. You and I talked a little bit before the show about that, and I thought that was real interesting and something you never see happening nowadays as far as the coach is concerned. Briefly,
one of the great things that Max did, as I said, he had a photographic eye when it came to picking out abilities and success in many cases. But the mentoring program was the big thing, because what he used to do is, in my 9th grade year, I was at Goff Junior High School, and I was asked by Max to come down to practice at East High School at the time with his swimming team. And what he would do, he'd pair me up with a senior who, like in this case, Milt Franklin, was a great backstroker. And I worked with Milt Franklin and how to do the turns and how the mechanics of the strokes took place. And I did the same thing.
And the seniors wouldn't resent that?
No.
No, they took that as more of a compliment?
They certainly did.
Oh.
It was one of those
different era, huh?
pride things that took place with the swimmers, because he singled you out to be a mentor, to help him out, okay? Although a lot of people say, well, it's unusual that a coach don't get into the water and show you the mechanics of stroking. Max, like I said, had a great eye, be able to pick out what the proper mechanics were. And he was a well-read man, and he knew what competitive swimming was all about. And he used it. He used it very wisely. And there was a man that never spoke loudly, never, in the years that I knew this man. And you always, there's an old saying, goes back to the, before my, a man that carries, what is it?
Speak softly, but carry a big stick.
Big stick, exactly.
Like that,
That's exactly what I was thinking
Jack,
of.
we've got maybe about a minute and a half left. Max Reed won the 1952 New England High School title at East High. Talk about your feelings regarding Coach Max Reed.
Max was like a father to me. He guided me along with Andy Dimott. We were kids that needed direction, as the case with most kids, and he was one of the kids that, one of the guys that gave me direction, and I followed it, knowingly or unknowingly at the time. Yeah. But as I grew older and I became a swimming instructor, I tried to use as much as Mac's skills and knowledges about swimming as he gave to me. And I just tried to give a little bit back, because back in 1969, I worked for the Pawtucket Recreation Department as an aquatics instructor for the city of Pawtucket. And I did that for 15 years. And using those skills and knowledges and idea about swimming as to what he gave me, I tried to give back to my charges as well.
Now, Jack, we've got 1 minute left. It flew by us, I told you it would. You were able to perpetuate the legacy of Max Reed when you organized the Max Reed Invitational Swim Meet for high school swimmers in 1969, and it's still running to this day. Tell us about the swim meet in a minute, unfortunately.
Under the direction of Joe Dragon, who was the recreation director at that particular time, I put together a committee of, I think there were 4 or 5 people that volunteered their time and energies in putting together one of the finest, I think, high school swimming championships in New England. And
it really is a showcase for the Blackstone Valley swimmers and the Rhode Island swimmers, isn't it?
It is a showcase, and that's what I intended for it to be. And we've had some heated discussions with the coaches in the past about the standards that we established as the Max Reed Championship meet. We established seed times, and we had to pull those seed times over the years as a championship meet.
All right. Well, and Jack, I appreciate you being here. You were the director for 13 years. The meet's 33 years old, so you've done a wonderful job with that.
Thank you. And I hope it continues more.
Excuse me?
I hope the meet continues
I'm sure it will
into the next century.
Well, thanks for being here and talking about Max Reed.
And I thank you for asking me.
My pleasure.
Appreciate it.
On the next Good Sports, what we're going to be looking at is the end of my 12-week adventure with health and fitness and nutrition. So we're going to have Ernie Trafford on, and that will be the first show for Good Sports Now with Dave Quinn. So I'm Bill Mulholland for Good Sports Memories. Good night.